Good morning, everyone. Welcome in. Hey, y'all. Hey, I'm Ann with Andale Homestead.
Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is Casey over at Ormsby Farms.
I'm Monica with Bland's Promised Land Ranch.
And this is Sandy at Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. And we have a fun topic today. Buying local, buying our meats locally. And we're going to talk about how we can do that. We had a great guest on Monday, Lisa from Yogihala Farms, and she can't be here today. She's actually picking up feed. She just sent me a text message, and she couldn't change the schedule, and so she just couldn't be with us. So we wish her well with that. But we are going to talk about buying meat locally. But Ann, why don't you welcome everybody in so far?
Awesome. I would be thrilled to do that. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And what we have are several channels that are streaming together. We have Ormsby Farms, we have Bland's Promised Land Ranch, we have Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona, and my channel, Ann from Andale Homestead, as well as Round the Haybale. Now, Round the Haybale is our channel that we're asking everyone to pop over there and give a little listen to. If you like what you see, give it a subscription, because we are going to have a big giveaway when we get up to 500 subscribers on Round the Haybale, and we're already been gathering some pretty cool gifts, I can tell you. But I'm thrilled to see everyone in here. I ran in the house real quick. Hey, Tamara at L&L Homestead. And not for nothing, our sweet Ginger, not for nothing Homestead, that is so sweet. Hey, Kayla Duckett. Good morning, my darling. And hey, everybody. This is Jessie from Lazy Days Ahead with Jessie and Lisa. They're busy. Lone Cross. Hashtag MTP. Does anybody know what MTP stands for? I'm just curious because I'm crazy about Scotty. We're glad to have him in our community.
That's a good question. I don't know that either. So I'd like for him put that in the chat.
Yeah, put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat what MTP stands for. Most terrific person, I'm thinking. Hey, Teresa Jukowitz, she is at the doctor's office, so she can only listen today. We won't get a whole bunch of chat from her, but I'm so glad everyone is here. Thank you for being here. We try to keep these lives around 30 minutes and give or take a couple of minutes or so. And I'm excited to find out different resources because in my area, I do have hard times finding local farmers. And so, Casey, you have a little something that you might want to share with us about a link to be able to find some local farmers. Is that what that link was about?
Yeah, I had luckily I have a couple friends that sell on this platform and heard about it because of course we talked on the episode about wanting to buy locally, trying not to go from the big box stores and not buying at your local grocery store and trying to support local farms. Now, as much as I love Monica's grass-fed beef, I can't always drive the 17 hours to Texas and go pick it up. You know what I mean? As much as I would love to.
Yes.
I have a wonderful girl that does that. We call her the Monica of Georgia, Longtime Cattle Company.
She's beautiful.
She watches on the replay, yeah. And Brianna, what's up, girl? But we learned about this place called Barn to Door. If you've heard about Barn to Door, leave it in the chat. And I'm pulling it up now so we can show it. But it's a great website that you put in your. Here we go. That you put in your zip code. You can put in how many miles away. Let's just say 25 miles away. You have all these options: bakeries, beef, goat, lamb, all the way down.
That's so fantastic.
And it will show you. Let's see if my internet will play nice while I'm on the live and actually pull. Oh, look at that. And
Threats
all of the farms that are selling 25 miles away, you go into their shop and it will pull up everything that they're selling, such as quarter beef, half beef, vegetables, whole beef. Some have the cuts in there as well, but that's a way to get local beef if you're not going to a farmer's market or you're not BFFs with your neighbor who's a pig farmer.
That's
It's
awesome.
nice local ones. Now, remember, pricing is always going to be a little bit more expensive from your local farmer than, say, at your Walmart. Huh?
Right.
It's organic. It's farm raised. It's better. It's not injected with everything to look a certain color.
Well,
So keep that in mind. Monica, did you want to talk more on that with the pricing?
yeah, remember, home, like farm raised, locally, small farm raised, sourced, anything, it's going to take longer to raise that, whether it's meat or even vegetables sometimes. I mean, vegetables usually take the same amount of time, but there's not a mass production of them, right? So they're smaller quantities, so they mean more to the farmer. I mean, look, I raise 2 cattle specifically for processing in the beginning of the year and 2 more for the end of the year, or vice versa, whatever I'm doing here, maybe just 1 at the end of the year. But I raise it so that my family can benefit and it doesn't put a lot of extra money on us. And so that cost is reflective in who I'm selling to. My goal isn't to make a lot of money.
Right.
My goal is to just cover the cost of raising that beef so that I can feed my family for lower cost. And so I think that a lot of farmers out there they're not in it to get rich. Farmers are there to feed their families and to feed yours. And so cattle, they take quite a long time to raise. I mean, if you look at the turnaround time on pork and cattle and things like that, if you're not pushing all the feed and, from like a feedlot and a grain fed, it's going to take anywhere between, you're looking at 12 to 18 months. You're looking at really an 18-month perfect time period to get them to that weight that you want them. 18 months is quite a bit of time for one cow. Pigs are the same. If you pasture raise your pigs and you're not just pushing them full of food, it's going to take much longer than that 4 to 6 months or whatever it is time period that you're pushing, depending on the quality of the meat, depending on the pig itself, the animal. So I think it's a lot. And the price is reflective in the time and the effort and the care that most farmers take to put into what they're raising. So keep that in mind when you're paying for that. You really do get what you pay for when you're talking about quality of meat. So
100%.
Yes.
100%.
Well, I mean, all of us know we've all raised chickens, and if we actually charge the price that it costs to raise the chickens with the barns and the feed and the bedding and the this and the that, they'd be, $50 an egg. It would be.
Yeah.
We always joke that when you start raising egg layers, when you get your very first egg, you're so excited. We call it around here the $1 million egg.
There you go.
It pretty much cost $1 million to get to that one egg.
Right. That's right.
One of the things you might look at if you don't want to order it online is, there are farmers markets, and more cities have farmers markets that are actually in buildings that are open 5-6 days a week that have the meat that you can buy. If you don't have that, talk to your extension office or the conservation district. They probably know ranchers. And so that might be a way to get that meat also.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wonderful idea, because I always cry the cry of I'm not around cattle farmers here. We do have pig farmers pretty locally that I could get pork from, but a cattle farmer is rare in our area. Maybe it's the humidity. I don't have a clue. I don't know why, but I always say, well, I can't ever find anybody. And I was sitting here, Monica and Casey pulled them up right off the bat. Well, how about this farm? How about that farm? And I'm going, oh, well, yeah, I just probably had to look a little past my nose there to be able to find some local, homegrown, the people, what they have eaten kind of meat.
And, also not even buying on Barn to Door, but what I've done, and I'm the crazy psycho social media YouTuber kind of person, because I look them up on social media and they become friends with them over that way. And then that way you don't have to pay the Barn to Door fee. You can still support that farm.
Casey's taking the
Get a
shortcuts.
better, little
Okay, good
shortcuts
clue.
here and there. And Sandy said it right. Go out to the farmer's market. Even if you just buy, let's just say, a pound of okra the first time, you're making those connections. And
Yeah.
then that person knows that person who knows that person who has a sister-in-law who has a cousin that sells lamb when you were looking for your lamb. So
You have to open your mouth.
yes, open your mouth, talk, make friends.
Yes.
Most of the time, farmers were pretty nice people and will chat your ear off. Not all the time, but sometime. Good morning,
Hi,
Nancy.
Nancy. Hi,
Nancy.
our treasured home. And then Not For Nothing says the processor that we take our pigs and deer to has a small cold section in their lobby that has beef, pork, chicken for sale. We have a small farmer's market about 45 minutes away from us that have the same thing. And it's
Yeah,
important.
it's a great idea. I mean, we sell at a local small winery, which is in the town where we live, called Corson's Winery. And they are looking into kind of doing the same thing that Ginger was saying that her processor does, of having stand-up freezers and coolers that farmers can rent out the shelves. That way you come in. You may not be in town on a Friday when market is, but you're in town on a Tuesday and you really want some grass-fed beef, so they can go in, you can grab it. It's still supporting your local farm. So it's a good idea. Hey, Blue.
I think that's something people don't think about. They think, well, I'm not processing animals. I'm not raising my own meat. So there's no reason for me to go to a processor. But if you do have a processor, even if it's 45 minutes away, sometimes it's worth calling them and saying, hey there, I just wanted to know if you guys have a cold section. Do you sell beef or pork or anything in your place? Because a lot of processors are doing that now. Two of the local processors, the one that I go to does the same thing. She has this beautiful place where she processes other people's animals, but she also raises her own, and she brings in pork and like she brings in Wagyu beef. I know she doesn't raise Wagyu, but she brings in different items so that she can sell there. So when I go there for my cattle or my pork, I have the luxury of being able to say, oh, I've never raised Wagyu, but I can get Wagyu beef sticks and try those. And it's kind of a neat thing. But if you've never been to a processor because maybe you're afraid to, or you don't need to, it might be worth a phone call, Miss Ann, because I bet you there's a local processor in your area that may have a cold section. And that right there would be worth your time going to check it out.
Let me tell you how cheap that lard is there too.
Yes, you can get you some tallow, some lard. I mean, they will sell the different bones for bone broth. I mean, people are always buying bone broth in the store. The good quality bone broth is expensive. Go to your local processor. Give them a call if you don't want to make that trip. This is my old-fashioned phone call, by the way, for y'all that see this. This is not how we talk on the phone now. This is what we do now. But make a phone call and ask them, do you have a cold section? Do you sell beef bones? I mean, sometimes it's really worth that effort.
Yeah, and the processor might know somebody that is getting processed and they only want a quarter of a beef or a half a beef.
Exactly.
And somebody might sell that to you at a great price. So,
Okay.
Sometimes we have to do a little work to find our processor.
Right.
Sometimes it's very easy. It just depends on what part of the country you live at. In Wyoming, there's a group that's working on a website where you can buy your eggs and your meat and stuff just from local, just Wyoming producers. And I would bet that there's probably a lot of states that are doing that now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it exists. I'm just not in that circle yet. Our son and his in-laws live several counties over, and they all went together and purchased a cow, and they were amazed at the meat that they were able to get. So, I mean, it exists. I'm just not in that circle.
But ask questions. I think you need to ask, what kind of shots are they having? Are they not having any shots? Are they grass raised on the grass the whole time? Or are they at the very end getting corn and different things? I think you have to do some research so you know the questions to ask. And then ask, there's nothing wrong with asking them, could I find out some of your clients? so that you could, maybe you might know them. You could ask them, how was the meat? Was it worth
Right.
the money? You know, because to all of a sudden buy a half a beef and you don't know anything about that rancher, that
Right.
it could be great. It could be not so good.
Right.
That's so true. Oh my gosh, that's so true. Jennifer Ocean Homestead, we're glad to see you. Grace and Fire, we're so happy to have you here. And Jesse is posting links on everybody's channel,
Yeah.
which is so awesome.
Yes, we thank you for that.
You know, when you're looking for meat, but you're also looking for vegetables and other, you know, farm raised things, they have these things now. And Casey and I have talked about this several times. The Naked Gardeners actually participate in what's called a Rico ring. It's kind of like a farmer's market, but that kind of comes closer to you, and it works kind of around your schedule. So a Rico ring is also another way to get the vegetables, and there's a lot of like online farmers markets too. And you can go and shop once a month or once every other week, depending on when they do it. And you shop online, you go pay online, and then you go and you just pick it up. You just go to a parking lot or like a group area, and you just go and you've got all these people that are there and they're just handing out their stuff. So for instance, I'm selling grass-fed beef maybe, and Casey's selling some breads, and Sandy is selling some like raw milk or something. Maybe she's selling raw milk. That's taboo. But we're all three selling stuff. And Anna's like, oh my gosh, I want to shop from her. I want to shop from him. I want to shop from her. And then you just show up, you pay each one of us separately. Then you show up and you're like, hi, I'm Ann. I'm here for the beef. And you just open up your bag, you get your stuff, and you roll out. It's like a grocery store, but it's local. And it's, you know, I mean, local meaning within the hour or so, because I mean, some of that Rico ring is different. But Barry says Rico, isn't that a crime? No, different, spelled different. I think it's REKKO. It's like a Rico ring.
Yeah, I think RIKKO.
So it stands for something. Anyway.
I'm in the dark. I don't know what that
But there's all these online farmers markets. And so if you're online, which you have to be online because you're listening to us right now. So gotcha.
Correct.
I'm in it today. But if you're online, you can easily go and look up some of these online farmers markets, whether it's Facebook or wherever, and they're there. Trust me, they are there.
Okay.
Just like Sandy said, you got to do a little digging.
Well, Grace and Fire says that she made the mistake of buying a lot of local hamburger and then didn't try it, and she didn't really like it. So she suggests buying a small amount first to see if you like it. What Worth and I do, we have a little country store that's about 25 miles away that has its own butcher shop, and they will grind the hamburger for you right there in front of you and so forth. But they still get their beef from the West. They don't, it's not like they're raising it in the backyard. So sometimes it's very good. I mean, it's like old fashioned, awesome hamburger. And then this time it tastes like it has filler in it or something. It doesn't taste very good. So you just don't ever know, you know, it's a shot in the dark.
Well, I think sometimes it does matter too what the animal was raised on, because I will say that some of our beef, and depending on when it was processed, so we have some beef that's processed in like March. So these beef are finishing up all their food and everything that's their finished beef. That beef is being finished on hay, which we always buy unfertilized hay. We don't buy anything with chemicals in it. So we're buying and finishing our beef from the first process that year with unfertilized hay because they don't have fresh grass. But then our fall winter processing that go in maybe November, October, they've just come off of all that summer grass, all that beautiful green grass from the spring and the summer. And maybe they've had a little hay depending on how dry it is here in Texas. And I think sometimes that really does affect the way the beef tastes. I'm not that particular. I know it's all grass fed here, but my father-in-law can taste the difference. And he's like, nah, I'm good. My father-in-law who lives on a farm, bless his sweetheart, he will go buy, he's a carnivore. He's on the carnivore diet. He will go and buy his steaks from the Costco. Okay. He raised cattle. We have beef walking around in this man's backyard. And he's like, yeah, I like the grain-fed stuff when it comes to steaks. That's on you, man. That's on you. But it's preference. It's all about the way things taste and what you like. But sometimes depending on how that animal was finished, whether it's pork or whether it's beef, it really can make a difference. It's just like with the American breast.
I was about to say, even poultry, same.
We talk to naked gardeners, and it really is about how you finish off your animals. And so, yeah, it's important to ask those questions, but also I always say, give it a 3 try. So I wouldn't say invest, thousands of dollars and then try it again. But if you're buying beef from a place and you're like, it's kind of weird, try it again, because it may not be that it was really that weird. It was maybe just the way that animal was finished, or
Just that
quality and that time of year or whatever it was. So it may be
I think also it's a big thing on when we come as Americans, come in from only doing grocery store shopping for X number of years, and then you start trying something that is locally grown or locally raised. The taste can be a little different because it doesn't have preservatives.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not a weird taste. That's a healthy taste.
Right.
Just FYI. I mean, not to be that person, but I was that way because forever I bought my pasta sauce at Kroger and would get the Kroger brand pasta sauce. Started homesteading, making my own, following recipes to a T. And I was always like, there's something off. Yeah, it's because it's not so much sugar and additives that are added in there. That's what real tomato sauce is supposed to taste like. That's what real beef is supposed to taste like when it's not injected with something to make it look red for months on end.
I didn't eat. Yeah. Ugh. And Sandy is one that will tell us all the time that environment is just about everything as far as section of the country,
how much minerals are in that soil that the cows are eating, the pigs are eating, the chickens, what kind of insects, the rain that year. There's just so many things that can affect it. But really, if we want homegrown products, we have to support those farmers and ranchers and homesteaders, because then they can go, okay, I'm recouping some of my costs back. It's worth it for me to go through not just the expense, but the hassle of, selling to other people, because you are going to have good consumers and you're going to have nightmare consumers. And so we need to support those local people.
Right.
And I agree with Monica that you have to try it a few times, because there's just so many factors. Even with vegetables, it can be changes. Everybody's grown the same kind of carrot and it's tasting a little bit different.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right with the soil. Yeah, Jesse says this is an awesome subject today. And to think Miss Ann told me I didn't need to be here. The nerve.
You were trying to get rid of him?
No. I called him. I call he and Lisa often on Instagram. And I was in the car driving, and I really wanted to brag on our visit, Monica, to speak with him. And he and Lisa both. And they've got things to do. They have a life.
Yeah.
They have stuff that they need to go and errands that they need to run. And I said, well, don't worry about being in here with us. We love you. We know that you love us. Don't worry about that. He goes, no. I'm going to be in there one way or the other, computer or the phone. I'm coming.
We love Jesse. We love Jesse and Lisa.
We do.
We love them.
Well,
I think
they're the bomb.
Yeah. I think it's important too to always remember. I guess we always do, because we're a baseball family. Well, we used to be a baseball family before COVID. And so we always say 3 strikes and you're out. So we give a 3-strike rule for everything. And even if it's vegetables, I always tell my kids, they'll be walking through the garden with me when I have a garden. And I'll say, okay, so you got to try this. Oh, I tried it last time. No, try it again. It's going to be different this year. You never know. 3 strikes. Remember, 3 strikes. Okay, fine. So they'll give it a 3-strike. Now I try to get them, try to convince them that it will taste different next year, maybe. But it makes a lot of sense what Sandy's saying. And I love that, because it really does. It tastes different depending on when you're growing it and where you're growing it. And yeah, I mean, it's not going to be the same. So, and yes, Sandy's birthday is on Monday.
Yes.
Monday.
Monday.
Well, happy birthday.
Sandy.
That's awesome. I just keep getting older. My hair keeps getting whiter. I keep getting older. I don't know.
Hey. What did Alicia? Alicia always says that age is a privilege that not many get.
That's
and
true.
So I think of that every time I have another birthday, and I think, you know what? I'm privileged to be another year older.
Right.
So.
I definitely am, for sure, for sure. Well, happy birthday. Do you have plans for your birthday?
Well, I do have a live stream on Monday night because that's when I have my live streams. But we're in this weird flux where I live. It's Fair Week. And so the restaurants are packed with people that come in for fair. You know, it's a county
yes.
fair. We have about a 1-2 day separation. And we have this thing that's coming in that's called the Camporee. And it comes, it's some kind of church thing, but 55,000 people are coming in. We only have 32,000 people in our town.
Oh my gracious.
It's going to be crazy. And so the farmer's market, the indoor farmer's market that sells our beef and my jams and jellies are down there. She says, you guys need to bring in a lot of stuff because they'll be in here every single day. And they're here for, I don't know, like a week. And so it's like, I gotta make some more jams and jellies, bring them down there.
Yes, you do.
He's working on her birthday.
Yeah, Jesse says your pictures saying to keep getting younger and younger. Your pictures.
I know. My profile has got my little, when I was 4 years old, and me and my sister had these light lavender dresses that matched. I love that picture.
Yeah, Eric was loving that picture last night too. He was like, look at Sandy when she was a little girl. I said, I know, it's so cute.
It is so cute.
Okay, sorry. That's not what our topic is.
No,
it's not.
It's local.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's funny because I just love, I really do. I have to say this is probably one of my favorite topics. I mean, Casey goes nuts when we talk about canning and preserving, and it's so fun to watch him get excited. But I think I get really excited when we talk about raising your own meat because it really is super important. And I think people don't realize the difference it makes in how you feel and overall the quality of what you're eating. And whether you're raising your own meat or raising your own vegetables or your own fruit, it really does make a world of difference, even if it's just a little bit. Like, you don't have to just go all in and be like, well, I can't raise all my own meat, so I'm just not going to try. Sometimes you can go and you can raise maybe some chickens or raise whatever, but then you can go acquire your beef or your pork from different places. And you don't have to just shop all of it in one space. So maybe you have a great friend that knows another friend that knows somebody else that gets beef from here. Go in with 3 people and buy a cow.
Right.
You know, buy a half a cow.
Right.
Buy a half a pig, whatever.
And, you know, think outside the box too. You know, we're talking about cows, pigs, you know, lambs, chickens. But what about pheasants? What about ducks?
Yeah.
We have a place that they raise pheasants and you can buy them, you know? So that's one of those specialty dinners that you may pay a little bit more, but it's one of those special treats. And sometimes, you know, what about when's the last time you had a duck?
Yeah.
You know, or a goose.
Yeah.
These are great things to eat.
Right.
But even you don't have to raise it. Maybe you know a hunter. I mean, there are people that go and hunt and they get a lot of deer, right? They get a lot of deer every year. They're very, you know, fortunate to get geese and to get pheasants or quail or doves. It's like big dove hunting in Texas. Like that's a thing.
Yeah,
I had no clue it was a thing. But we don't do that. Like Eric tries, bless his heart. He's so sweet. He tries so hard to get out there and hunt. That is from the love. That is loving.
His heart.
No, he tries so hard. He was trying to get geese last year. These geese have eluded him. They are very smart. These are smart geese. They must be from the East because they just come in, they outsmart him. See, from the East, I got that. Yeah. And then they leave Texas and go back. But they're really smart and he can't catch a deer. He can't, none of that. He can't get one of them for anything. But we know people. And because we know people, then we can swap. We can trade. We can barter. Bartering is huge. And don't forget that. So you don't always have to go out and buy it. Maybe you've got something that you can barter for that meat, for that stuff that you want to consume. And so, yeah, finding that fresh local stuff is possible.
Yeah, because
I was going to say that the bartering is so important too, because you may not have room to raise cows on your homestead. You may not have room to raise pasture pigs. And I know that I have no want to raise either one of them, but I do have room to do the chickens and the turkeys. So I can raise the turkeys. I know that my friend down the street is doing the pork and the beef, and then we switch, and that's how you get your meat for the year. So
yeah.
And I barter honey and vegetables for elk. So
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Oh my gosh, it works good, great for both of us.
Right. We have a lot of hunters around here. My husband is a fisherman and he used to be a big hunter, but our son is a big hunter. So they have bear and geese and duck and dove. And then we have the fish that Worth catches that we can share. So anyway, Casey, thank you so much for
This truly has been a fun conversation. I do get giddy over canning, but I have recently been getting giddy over raising your own beef and pork and chicken for your homestead, and also learning where to find it. And if you haven't, click on our Linktree link and go listen to that episode, because it was a lot of fun having Lisa back on the panel and just picking her brain. She's very knowledgeable on this kind of stuff. And it's a great episode. Also, be sure you're following us, because when we hit 500, we are doing a giveaway, and we are so excited to get to that 500 mark. We are growing each day. And we thank everyone who came in. Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, Jesse and Lisa, for dropping our links today. We really do appreciate it. We appreciate every single one of y'all in the chat. We couldn't say it enough, but we will see y'all next Friday on Hey Y'all Hey by Round the Haybale. We'll see y'all. Bye, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
We're back.
And now live every Friday
with new topics and a new time.
Don't forget, a new host.
Yay, that's right. Sandy joins the panel for Hey Y'all Hey radio show.
Now on Fridays at 11 a.m. Central.
We'll see y'all there.